This morning I got up just a little bit late, and the first thing Mom asks me or says to me is, weren't we going to make that chicken dish today? So forget the shower. I'm going to go straight into cooking. So today we're going to make a chicken, and that chicken is going to be a chicken thigh that's going to have be marinated in a roasted jalapeno marinade, and it's also going to come with some caramelized onions. So let's get started so I can take a shower. For our roasted chicken, we're going to make a jalapeno marinade, but we want our jalapeno marinade to be a roasted version. It's going to take away a little bit of the spiciness. It's just going to give it a little bit more of a complex flavor. I want to go ahead and I'm getting my little pan here warmed up. I'm going to put a jalapeno in there. I'm just going to blister that on each side to make it where it's almost black on each side. Then I'm going to set it off to the side and let it cool for just a few minutes. If you want, you can skip this process and just use a fresh jalapeno just to make sure that we take the seeds and stuff out. Or if you want it a little bit spicier, you can always use a habanero. Alright, now while our jalapeno is over there in the pan being roasted, we're going to take 3 medium onions, and we're going to actually, we're going to use yellow onions. I'm going to just cut them into little strips. Nothing too particular, just thin slices. We're going to do that to 3 onions, and then we're also going to take 3 limes, and we're going to take those limes and we're going to grate them. We want to get all the lime zest on the outside of them, because we need 3 tablespoons of lime for this recipe. And then we also want to juice the limes, because we want to get 6 tablespoons of lime juice out of them. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sliced up. Okay, we've already sliced our onions here. You can take a look at that. We've taken our limes, we've zested them and juiced them, and look at our jalapeno. See that, how you got that nice roasted? That's kind of what you want. We're going to take this, we're going to cut the ends off of it. It's much softer. You can take a spoon. I use my fingers, and it's still kind of hot, but we want to make sure that we get all this little ribbing down the center there. That's where all your heat's at. These little ribs and also the seeds. Now we're just going to use probably just about half of this jalapeno. I'm going to dice it really thin. Alright, to a bowl over here, we're going to take it and we're going to add this jalapeno. That's all nice and cut up. Alright, in this cup here, we're going to add our jalapeno. I love the smell of roasted jalapenos. It's just so different than if you do it with, doing fresh. To that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And basically what you want any kind of oil that doesn't have any flavoring to it. So you want to do a peanut oil will be fine, avocado oil will be fine. We're at 3 tablespoons. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. I'm trying not to make a mess because I'm really good at that. 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I know this seems like it's going to be it's kind of a thick concentrate, but we'll show you how this works out. I'm going to put that in there. We're going to add our lime zest, which is equal to 3 tablespoons. And basically all we're doing now is we're making a infused oil flavor. I'm going to mix that round with my little teaspoon there. It actually smells really good. This is kind of a south of the border recipe almost. Alright, we're going to take 2 teaspoons of this. I'm going to set off to the side in another bowl. Seems like I'm doing a pretty good job at making a mess with this recipe. Actually, I'm good at making a mess at all recipes. Alright, I'm going to go over here to the side. I'm going to grab a bowl over here. Now, to that bowl, we're going to go add that mixture that we just made. We're also going to add 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. Six tablespoons of freshly squeezed lime juice. And 1/4 cup of water. Just gonna give that a quick mix. I got a really big bowl here so I don't make a mess so it doesn't slosh out the sides. You can't see it, but it did slosh out the sides. This kind of reminds you of how you make some fajitas. I've seen fajitas where they use the orange juice and stuff. And they're really good, but this one is really simple. This is kind of the same variation. We're just using lime juice and the jalapenos. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Alright, to this, we are going to add our onions. And unfortunately, this is where it's going to get messy. And we're going to add in our chicken. Now we're using chicken thighs which have bone in. We like the chicken thighs because they have a lot of flavor. If you want to put a whole chicken in, you can just cut it up, but I suggest that you use something with a bone in it. Just gives it that more flavor and stuff. I'm going to add those, and while those are kind of doing it, we're going to toss it in, everything in this marinade. Make sure everything is nice and coated. We're actually going to put that chicken more towards the bottom, to where that marinade is more at. And then we're going to let this sit at room temperature for 1 hour. Or if you want, you can put it in the refrigerator and let it sit in the refrigerator for approximately 2 hours. But you don't want to do any longer than that, because otherwise with that lime juice and the jalapenos or habaneros, depending on which one you use, it's really going to affect the flavor. Alright, we're almost done. We're going to wrap this all up. And one thing I did forget to mention is, one, you want to make sure that you use a glass bowl. Don't want to use a metal bowl, especially with anything citrus. And also, if you leave the marinade on too long, it's going to make everything soft. And you really don't want that softness, because we're going to caramelize these onions and we're going to crisp up this chicken. So, alright, let's get this marinated. Alright, it's been an hour. We're going to take our chicken out of our marinade over here. We're going to set it on our plate, and we're going to pat this dry, because we will need it dry in order to get that nice crispiness on the skin on the outside of it. Also, while this is happening, we've taken 1 tablespoon of our olive oil, and we've stuck it in our Dutch oven pan. And we're going to let it heat to the point where it's almost smoking, because we want that really hot. That's going to give us a nice sear on the outside of our thighs here. I think our thighs are playing hide and seek. Is that all of them? Yeah, we have 5 of them. Alright, but while that's doing, we're going to just go ahead and make sure we pat this dry. And you're still going to have some of those seasonings on the outside. That's okay. We just don't want a lot of extra moisture. Alright. Turn that over. Same thing, dry it off. Put those extra onions back in there. There are stage 2. Alright, now we're going to let those sit for just a minute while our oil goes ahead and gets hot. Alright, while our oil is also heating, we're going to take this colander here, stick it in the bottom, and we're going to take our onions and we're going to drain them. We want to get the excess liquid off of them. For the same reasons, it's going to continue to make those onions soft. And also, we don't want the extra water content whenever we're cooking them just a little bit later. So we're actually going to take these onions and we're going to caramelize them. Alright, our oil is ready, so we're going to go ahead and get our chicken started. Gonna turn our fan up just a little bit more. I just hit the wrong button. I'm gonna take our chicken and do it skin side down. And we're gonna cook these until it's a nice golden brown. Alright, we've got that in there, and we're going to cook it just for a few minutes. Alright, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and if you take a look at our chicken, how nice and golden brown that is. All we're doing is browning the top. Take that out. We're going to take our towel here and we're going to pour off all but about 1 tablespoon of oil. Actually, there wasn't that much left. Then we're going to take our onions that we have drained, pour those in. And to that, we're going to add 1/4 a cup of water. And we're going to stir this, and because we want to get all that, the brown off the bottom of the pan. Because this is going to have a lot of flavor. And this flavor is what's going to be used in order to help season it. It's going to help give it a little more chicken flavor to our onions. We're going to turn this on medium heat. Alright, looks like we got most of that up. We're going to put a lid on it, but we're going to make sure that we stir it a lot. So we're just kind of want to caramelize the onions. So we're going to put a lid on it. We're going to stir it quite often to make sure that nothing burns or sticks. And we're going to do this for about 20 to 25 minutes. Alright, now we're going to go to our pot over here. Set that up. Our onions are nice and caramelized. And to that, we're going to go ahead and add that marinade that we had left over earlier, the 2 teaspoons. Give that a little mix. And we're going to add just a little bit more water, up to 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to take that and then scrape the bottoms again. Get all out of the way. Alright, now we're going to add our chicken. We're going to make sure we add our chicken, and we want to make sure that the skin side is going to be up. We don't want to lose any of that crispiness that we have on our skins. Alright. And then we're going to put in the rest of these, the oil and the fat from that chicken. Don't want to waste any chicken fat. That's where all the flavor's at. And then we're going to put our lid back on. And we're going to cook this for roughly 25 minutes. We just want to make sure that the internal temperature of our chicken gets to 165 degrees for a minimum of 30 seconds. Alright, we've taken the lid off. Now about halfway through the 20-25 minutes, we went ahead and added the marinade that we had drained off of the original onions and chicken. We're just going to test the temperature here on it, make sure that we're getting up to temp. That one looks like it's at 174. They're almost done, but not quite. That one. great thing about working with chicken stuff. You can have, or different meats. You can have. Well, all of them are done in the pot except for one. We're going to retempt that one just to check on it real quick. That one's done. Should check that one. Alright, no, they're all done. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off of this, and we're going to set our chicken out onto a plate. We're going to now take our chicken, set it out on a platter. The smell is really good. The recipe is pretty simple. It does take just a few minutes because you do have several steps. Now we're going to serve this with some linguine off to the side. If you wanted to, you could always serve this with mashed potatoes or any kind of starch, really. Look at those caramelized onions. They look absolutely delicious. We hope that you enjoy this recipe. And please make sure that you like and share and subscribe to our page if you haven't already done so. Enjoy cooking.